Mighty God of in-between, accept our sacrifice. Accept our sacrifice. Open the gates, 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 open the gates. Let the world open as a gate. Open the gates, open the gates, open the gates. Let the fire open as a gate. Open the gates, open the gates. Let the tree open as a gate. Open the gates. Let the gates be opened.
With barley and bloom with
Besides honoring ourselves and those that we practice with, and all human beings, we also honor the spirits of the land, the spirits of basically beings that exist all around us. They can actually be trees and plants and animals, but they can also be spirits of the Fae, kind of otherworldly spirits that are loosely associated with the mystical aspects of nature.
All you spirits of the land, be you small or be you grand, fin and feather, fur and skin, bright and tent is welcome in. Leaf and stone and fairy too, let our sacred pact renew.
We also honor our ancestors, not only our biological ancestors, but the ancestors of our hearts.
The ancient ones, the noble ones, and the shining beings. We would like to make the offering to the ancestors.
We may feel a special connection to somebody who's passed away, who was a good teacher to us, or taught a lot of good lessons in the world, but they weren't necessarily biologically related to us. And those are also ancestors.
Kin of blood, kin of heart, and kin of place, join us at the well this day. Varavashi, accept our sacrifice.
Varavashi, accept our sacrifice.
And then we honor the gods, which can be both the shining gods of the heavens, and also the chthonic deities, gods of the underworld, kings of the dead. So we honor all of those.
Horus, O great and timeless gods and goddess, come to us. You are welcome by our fire. Let us know what you desire. Known and unknown deities, meet us at the boundaries.
Hail all the goddesses, hail all the gods and goddesses, hail all the gods, hail all the goddesses, hail all the holy ones, we dwell together.
Neo-paganism is a new religious movement, and it started in the 1960s, although its roots go back earlier to the 1950s and then even into the late 19th century in Britain. But as a religious movement with a coherence, it really started in the 1960s. And it was several different kinds of religions, including Wicca and Druidism, that involved people who wanted to reclaim pre-Christian traditions. Andreochtfein, it's our own Druidism, and it was started by Isaac Bonowitz. It was started as kind of a joke by college students, and he got involved with that and then had some conflicts with the original group because they didn't really want to take it seriously as a religion, and he wanted it to be more of a religion. And so he started Andreochtfein in the 1980s. For Bonowitz, it was really important that they learned as much as they could about these ancient pre-Christian religions, such as Druidism, of the British Isles and other parts of Europe, so that they could try to recreate for contemporary people the kinds of rituals that the ancient pagans would have done.
Our religion sprung from the Reformed Druids of North America, which had a very strong focus on the Earth Mother. And that's one of the things that migrated in when our religion was founded by Isaac Bonowitz. Our ancestors were, despite what most people believe, not really that in tune with nature. They didn't understand nature. They understood the cycles, they understood the weather patterns, but they didn't necessarily understand that ripping out an entire field full of trees was going to cause erosion, or that creating metalsmithing operations would cause air pollution. So they weren't quite as in touch and in tune with the environment as a lot of people would like to believe. And you'll often hear that in when neo-pagans talk about the ancestors. They often romanticize the ancestors as these peaceful, loving, all-knowing people who really were in touch with the environment, and they really weren't. And history and anthropology shows us that that's not the case. However, in our modern world, we have to have made some adaptations. The Earth Mother has become a prominent figure in our religion because the modern neo-pagan movement demands it. So nature spirits are our sisters and our brothers, and the work that we do here in nature is not only good for the Earth, our mother, but also good for the spirits of nature, which we share a communal relationship with. The work that we do here in nature, it helps the environment, and in turn, when the environment is healthy and doing well, then we do well too, because we really are part of the environment.
We're out here today helping with the City of Chico volunteer program. We coordinate with them.
Right,
And
keep doing it.
What we're doing today is we are removing invasive species.
There we go. Ah.
As a group, we feel it's really important for us to give back to our community and to give back to the earth. And this is our primary way of doing that.
I know, I just realized I need to pulling Vinca from Bidwell Park. We're here with some cave volunteers, and just every little bit helps. It's getting all of the roots, all of the little bits and pieces. Because Vinca is one of the hardiest plants around. You can pull it up, throw it into a pile, and it will reroot itself from the stem. I see the Vinca right now kind of like as knot or cords constricting this part of nature, and I'm trying to remove those cords to let the native plants breathe. Just trying to regain the balance that it should be in this area. Everything in the world has a spiritual power of some sort, and including the Vinca. And I'm just trying to create my own balance within the spiritual powers within at least this area.
I originally joined ADF about 1.5 years ago. I came to one of their study groups with a friend of mine, but I really like Druidism. I like the group of people and what they believe in, and the freedom that it allows me to have my own beliefs as well.
I think that as the movement grew, that they tried to broaden it out. So when they saw that there were similar beliefs and practices in other pre-Christian religions, they wanted to make those traditions also accessible to their members.
My specific goddess is outside of ADF because ADF allows us to practice our beliefs outside. I also practice outside of ADF as well.
So I think that's a pretty typical neo-pagan strategy, is to be as inclusive as possible. So if it works within your framework, which is this nature religion that's polytheistic, then it can be included. But yes, it's definitely broadened out beyond the British Isles, and intentionally so.
My particular goddess that I follow the most is Isis, and she's a bomb. She and her husband, he was taken away from her, cut up in 13 pieces, and she had to go on a search for all of his pieces. And that's what she teaches me. Sometimes with the person you love, you have to go on a long search to find all those pieces and put them back together. And on Facebook, I may put up a little prayer to her and say, hey, how you doing? I appreciate what you've done for me lately. Light an incense for her in the evening. Dream about her at night. It's can be the same or different for everybody, but most people's are all different.
Sacred fire, light of heaven, power of our transformation, create order out of chaos. Sacred fire, burn within us.
Sacred fire, burn within us.
Dwell in fire and sacred trees, glow in flame and grow in me. Dwell in
shows is a celebration of the dead, an honoring of ancestors. Because without death, you can't have new life. You know, you can't have rebirth. You can't have fertility of the land without things dying and adding their matter back into the earth to make that happen.
13 good years with Rosario. He passed away yesterday. The nature spirits, he was one of you and he is again. Keep him safe. To the ancestors, he truly is an ancestor now and is watching over us.
You spent 13 years with me. You took care of me when I was sick. And when I could not take care of myself, you were the best service animal I could have ever asked for.
And it is hard to divorce ourselves from the Western culture that many of us were raised in. So there's still a great deal of sadness at death, but there's also joy and celebration because we know that those that have passed on are, giving back to that life force that creates the fertility needed for this world to grow. Essentially near the beginning of the rite, we'll do some kind of a purification, which will include incense and water where we purify the space, because we don't know who's been using the space since the last time we were there. By the might of the water and the light of the fire, this grove is made whole and holy. By the might of the water and the light of the fire, this grove is made whole and holy. And then we do an offering to the outdwellers, which are beings that are not aligned with our ways. We ask you to turn your faces away from Craig as he makes his offering to the outdwellers, so that you may not form a relationship with those beings who are not aligned with our ways. While we're in the circle, the first few steps usually are a prayer, just to remind everybody why we're here. And then we call on the Earth Mother. And this is your day, Mother's Day. So to the greatest mother of them all, we show you honor. We offer you millet, a grain of the old world, and corn, a grain from this new land. Earth Mother, we show you honor. After we do our offerings to the Earth Mother, then we make recognition of the three worlds and the three realms, and we call on each of the three kindred, the nature spirits, the ancestors, and the gods, and we invite them to join us. And then we open the gates to the other world. And open as a gate.
Let's lace her in there.
We are a circle, one with another, we are moving together.
Let the gates be closed. Let the gates be closed. Let the gates be closed.
Let the gates be closed. Let the gates be closed. Let the gates be closed. Let the gates be closed. Watch out, Craig. Watch out, Craig. Let the gates be closed. Let the gates be closed. Let the gates be closed.
Let the water flow and close as a gate. Let the gates be closed. Let the gates be closed. Let the gates be closed. Closed as a gate. Let the gates be closed.
Alex, watch out!
Alex.
Let the gates be
Let
closed.
the gates be closed.
Let the gates be closed.
Hey. You know you're on the phone and not pay attention to flying stick.
Circle moving, one with another we are.
Hail all the gods, hail all the goddesses, hail all the gods and goddesses, hail all the gods, hail all the goddesses, hail all the holy ones, we dwell together.
What are you doing? For upholding our right, I'm giving offerings to the Earth Mama.